So I think because of the Wii in the living room and casual games and more recently Facebook and mobile games, suddenly more people are playing games. And I think the games industry is woken up to the fact that it's not just all about the niche hobby gamer. In fact, we can all enjoy playing games, male and female, young and old, and I'll talk about that in a second. So how did games get into the home? Well, the Magnavox Odyssey was launched in '72, but they made a fatal marketing error in saying that, by implication in their adverts, that you needed a Magnavox television to be able to run Magnavox games. Not right. The second problem, there was just one dedicated game, so it was quite expensive for one game. So it was left up to Atari to steal that space. The 2600 revolutionized games in the home. This was a cartridge-based console where you could interchange the cartridges, and suddenly, hey presto, everyone was playing games. Japanese, always looking to innovate on people's ideas. They grew the arcades, games like Space Invaders, Asteroids. In fact, in the late 70s, there was a shortage of 100 yen coins in Tokyo because all of them were stuck in the arcade machines, and they had to do an emergency mint of 100 yen coins. And I think we should just reflect now on the early days of games, and I'll show a little video of the early stuff. Now, there should be some sound. Can we have some sound, please? We did a sound check before. Yeah, keep it coming, keep it going. The observant of you in the audience will know that it was actually 1996, not 1995, when Tomb Raider came out. So software sells hardware, and the consoles in the home took off a huge degree in the mid-90s with the launch of PlayStation from Sony. And today, of course, there are a myriad platforms on which are games enabled for everybody in the world to play games on. So if you look at about what's happening, and a lot of people don't understand the size of the industry. It's bigger than DVDs, bigger than cinema box office, bigger than music, bigger than books. 2 out of 3 households play games in the UK, and there's a high percentage of female players. there's some large numbers involved with games now. 10 million units of games are now possible on console. You get 10 million subscribers to an MMO. Install base of handhelds is 100 million. You got TV-based consoles, smartphones of 500 million, and over 250 million people play games on Facebook. So we spend $50 billion a year on software sales alone. Well, why do we do that? Well, we're very good at generating emotions in game. Games are now considered an art form. We can make people happy, we can make people sad, we can make them cry, we can make them laugh. And that market is set to grow to $90 billion by 2015. Now, this is a huge growing market in what is seen to be a flat economy, if not declining economy. So there's great opportunities for content creators, no matter where they are in the world, to reach global audiences via high-speed broadband. The perception of games has often been bad in the West. When people look at people reading a book, they think great things about them. When they see them playing a game, they always think negative things about them. I'm glad to say those opinions are changing as games have become more socially inclusive. But nevertheless, you always get these shock horror headlines. But I'm glad to say that I think they are going to be a thing of the past in the not too distant future. That slide is a piece of meat implying blood and gore with the console buttons on them. Okay, good. But we have actually got a pan-European rating system called PEGI, so parents can make informed decisions on what their children play or don't play, rather like the film industry. So we do our bit as a responsible industry. And of course, there's content diversity now. There's something for everybody, whether it's nurturing ponies for young girls, or brain training for older people, or cooking games, or active games in the living room with Wii Sports. You know, no one can say that games is a very narrow content industry. Far from it. We create blockbuster titles. The one thing about the blockbuster and about the games is that in the console industry, the market is fairly mature. There's been a lot of consolidation. If you're not best in class, you've got problems because people are all buying the same games. Modern Warfare 3 was launched on Tuesday. It sold in 24 hours in USA and UK, in earning $400 million in revenue. That's beating the Harry Potter box office launch. It makes it the largest entertainment release of all time. So AAA is the rich are getting richer. The mid-tier of games is disappearing because in the old days people used to buy the AAA game, and then if it wasn't there, they'd then buy a B-type game. They're no longer doing that now because they're spending the rest of the time on buying games or downloading games on their PC, or playing iPhone games or Android games or social games. So they're snacking on mobile content whilst they're playing a lot of time on the best in class. So it's AAA or no way for the console market going forward. Deus Ex, I'm delighted to say, is a AAA game. It's from our EIDOS Montreal studio, and it was a heritage title, a legacy title that was published originally 10 years ago, and we made sure that we put the production values of amazing production values into Deus Ex, and to make it the same sort of compelling gameplay, multiple choice in that you could go through the game through stealth or through action. It's another opportunity for the games industry to work with the film industry. We use more and more trailers in getting awareness of our games before they're released, and we're working with our Square Enix partners who created this wonderful trailer for you. I think you're all 18 in this room, no underage, so I will allow you to see the trailer because it really does set the scene for Deus Ex.
Peggy 18.
I never asked for this. If you want to make enemies, try to change something. The year is 2027. It's a time of great innovation and technological advancement. It's also a time of chaos and conspiracy. I don't even know whose side I'm on.
Breaking news. The riots continue in the streets of Detroit. Protesters rallying outside of Seraph Industries, one of the world's leaders in the controversial science of human augmentation.
These people, Adam, they're like ghosts. Always in the shadows. Always hiding behind lies. Proxy soldiers. I need you to find them. They cannot stop us. They cannot stop the future.
I never had a choice of what happened to me.
How do you feel, Alan? The body may heal. The mind is not always so resilient.
Corporations have more power than the government. Everyone's fighting for power, for control. Help! Please!
Police have opened fire on the crowd.
You'll never find them!
I'll never stop looking.
Thank you. Yes, great production there. So obviously that games are working with visual effects companies and collaboratively to build big franchises. So games have moved from a kind of a niche to a mainstream audience. Children play games, seniors play games, young and old play together. Everybody's playing games, which is good to see. In fact, it's possible to play games. But the industry is in a constant state of change. And once you've gone digital, there's absolutely no going back. And if you look at this projection from the markets, some are predicting that as soon as next year, that the revenues from network sales of games, from online and digital distribution, is going to exceed those from packaged goods. So the industry is in an absolute state of transition as it moves from a retail-based product to an online-based service. And that's sort of what a lot of the larger companies are grappling to deal with, because it is quite a fundamental shift in mentality and skills to make that transition from a box product to an online service. But they're getting there, most people. But some publishers, I think, are still sleepwalking. They don't want change. They hate change. They have old sales ways, understand the analog world, but I would say if you're not thinking digital, you're probably thinking dinosaur. And they'll be left to be able to sell prepaid cards will be the early products they'll be selling soon. So there's a second golden age of games is happening now. There's all these online platforms where content creators, wherever they are in the world, can reach global audiences through high-speed broadband. There's an incredible opportunity now that hasn't existed for a number of years. So the opportunities are, of course, as you probably all know, casual, social, MMOs, mobile, online co-op stuff. There's something there for everybody to create, from large or small studios, as games moves from a product to a service. So some notable examples of success: Club Penguin, a small MMO that was developed in Canada a couple of years ago, sold to Disney for about $500 million. Disney had recognized that through their own research that children were coming to their site not just to look about the latest films and latest characters. They wanted to have an interactive experience.